All right, family, welcome back to another edition of Economic News. Today is April 6, 2021. Let's go ahead and get started. Brought to you by Finance, not brought to you by, but let's go ahead and get started with yahoofinance.com. Look at the S&P futures, Dow, NASDAQ, and Russell 2000. They're all sitting downward as the market looks to futures look to open down as well. All right, that could change by the time the market's open at 9:30 a.m. East Coast time here in the U.S. All right. All right, we go switch all over here to the FTSE 100. Look at that. The FTSE's up. The Nikkei 225 is down. All right, get into some cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin is going up and down. Look at, but it's now up. CMC Crypto 200 is up as well too. All right. So look at that 10-year bond. All right, keep paying attention to that 10-year bond. The bond market is where we kind of need to focus and pay attention on. Not all attention, but pay attention to it. So look at that 10-year bond at 1.7200. All right. Look at that VIX. All right, the VIX is up as well. All right, some other currencies. GDP to the US dollar. That is 1 point, as you see, it's fluctuating 1.386. All right, and then look at the US dollar to the Japanese yen. It's running mixed as well too. All right. All right. So let's go ahead and get into some actual currencies here. Some precious metals. Had to adjust the camera view here. This is from kitco.com. Go all the way down to let's look at the world spot price. All right, look at gold. A little bit of look at everything's ticking up. Gold is up $4.20. Silver is up 9 cents. Platinum is down $6. Palladium was up $15, and rhodium is taking a downward turn. All right, from when we last looked at it, all right, a couple of $1,000s, all right, to 26,800 asking. All right, so that was from Kitco.com. Let's look at the gold ratios here. It takes that is holding down into the 60s now, 69.50 ounces of silver is 1 ounce of gold. Platinum, you see, look at palladium as well, going ahead too. All right, look over at crude oil. It takes $28.97. 28.97 barrels of crude oil equal $1 ounce of gold. All right. So let's get into some actual news here. Look at this here. Looky here. Looky here. Looky here. All right. We gotta move this camera over a little bit. Sorry about that, folks. All right. The Bank of America sell triggered at any moment. All right. This last happened in May of 2007. All right. The financial crisis they call it the financial crisis in 2008. All right, but that was an attempted market fix, all right. But nothing got fixed in 2000, 2008. It really didn't get fixed in 87 either. Oh, we had the whole crisis in the 70s. Nothing got fixed, and they just keep kicking the can down the road. So here we go again with Bank of America. This is not the only one. It's just the one who publishes it, who's bold enough to publish what's going on. That their sell signals have triggered, and their sell signals have triggered, and they're going to trigger again, and they're letting people know that, hey, this sell signal is going to be triggering. And the last time we had something on this major scale was in 2007. That was when you had many people screaming to the high heavens that get ready for a crash, and the media ignored them. Next thing you know, in 2008, the bottom fell out. Next thing you know, you had people screaming to the top of the lungs. Nobody warned us. Nobody said anything, but the warning signs are all there. Take this heed any moment. Take this heed as much as you can, folks. All right, family, take it. That when banks start telling you, hey, this is really going to happen, but they're not. But the major so-called financial networks are not reporting it. This to let you know that they're telling you, because they have to give you warning about what's coming up, what's going on. And if you don't catch these warnings, we can't do. There's nothing they can do for you. You're gonna get screwed over. All right. So this is from zerohedge.com. That BofA, that's Bank of America, right? And they have a flash. They have a cell signal that is getting red hot all the time. All right. So take a look at this article from zerohedge.com. All right. And so here we go with this story here. All right. This is from bankrate.com. Mortgage foreclosure ban until 2022. All right. This is from proposed by federal regulators. If it ain't hit people hard enough about what they're horribly afraid of, the regulators and the mortgage industry, people in forbearance, you got people that haven't paid their mortgage since it began. Some people came because they lost their jobs, they got fired, or they got laid off, and they haven't been able to find mortgage. They haven't been able to find a job enough to cover all the expenses. All right, but this is going to cover The people have another saying that this is a good thing, that they're gonna keep you from foreclosing on their properties. But there's always those people who slip through the cracks. We're seeing cities make deals, cutting deals with developers and still kicking people out. There's several cases in Florida that would happen. Even one case of a blind man who paid up his lease was evicted in the middle of a snowstorm. All right, they got the sheriff's department in and they went ahead and evicted him. All right, so just because you see these foreclosure bans doesn't mean that people are not going to slip through the cracks. And what the federal regulator is afraid of is the tsunami of people who are supposed to be kicked out, who are going to be put out in the streets and lose their homes. All right, and if you could go down to the article here, it says nearly 1.7 million borrowers are expected to exit forbearance programs in September and the following months, and many of those homeowners have fallen behind on their mortgage payments by 1 year or longer. All right, in this normal time, lenders can begin foreclosure actions against borrowers who haven't paid for 120 days. So basically, so if you get into this article here a little bit, people who have not paid their people haven't paid their mortgages May since March of last year, since the end of March, and and it's been well over a year. It's been well over a very long time since people have been able to pay their mortgages and rents. All right, so what they're trying to do, they're trying to prevent an avalanche of eviction notices, because these eviction notices have been filed. They're just sitting in court systems and public court filings, waiting to be executed. And once it starts, it's going to be a tsunami of rolling, going downhill. You're going to have people put out in the middle of the streets, and with pretty much nowhere else to go. All right, it's hard to when people when people have struggled to pay their rents, their mortgages. They have all these other expenses. Especially they have kids, and jobs right now are just now starting to open up in certain states. Certain states continue with their look of virus lockdowns and causing more and more devastation in their economies. All right, so get this news article here from Bankrate.com. And then we look at overseas here. This is a telling sign about what's going on. India's March gold imports surge to 470%, a record 160 trillion. Government sources say. All right, this is an article from Reuters. Uh, India's gold surge. The rest of the world is purchasing precious metals at an alarming rate. While here in the U.S., you have a surge. You have a surge here in precious metals that we've reported on at this channel, and there are other channels you can look it up yourself. People are buying record amounts of precious metals here, but nothing like what's going on overseas. All right, they've been hoarding. They've been buying up precious gold and other precious metals for decades, even centuries, and we're just not catching up here in the U.S. All right, but in India, gold is king. Gold is actually king over there. The government actually tells their people to go out and buy gold. All right, it is a sign of prosperity and wealth, prosperity, good and family wealth and resources. When you go to an Indian wedding, uh, they're full of gold. The bride is full of gold. The groom is full of gold, and it is typically normal for families to pass each other gold. All right. So with the India surge in gold, get used to that. That is coming from overseas. You won't hear that here in the stateside. The media won't let you know about what's going on. There's a total blackout about what's going on overseas. All right, and not just monetary policy, but the people are protesting the virus that can tell time lockdowns. All right, so go ahead and get this article from Reuters.com about India's record gold surge. All right, and then we switch over to USDebtClock.org, and we're going to take a look about what's going on with the actual debt. All right, we got a screenshot here. We're looking at the screen. This is real time about what's going on with the U.S. debt. Pay attention. We're now operating at 101% of GDP, debt to GDP. All right, as you can see, total U.S. national assets totaling $161 trillion. And then switch over here to U.S. unfunded liabilities. That is everything that the U.S. has indebted for. All right, we're at $162 trillion. All right, last time we reported we were at $159 trillion. So, and that was a couple months ago. That was about a couple months ago we reported that. And look at that, we gained nearly $3 trillion in national debt. All right, I don't know who's going to pay for it. I can't pay for this. Most of us can't pay for it. This is out of control bureaucracy spending. Governments don't care. They just keep adding more and more debt, kicking it down the can. What they're doing, they're spending tomorrow's money today. All right, just so they can make a big splash. All right, but I don't know who can pay for this $162 trillion, but I can't, and I'm pretty sure most of us can. This is unfunded debt that we can't afford to pay for. All right. So if you see the U.S. national debt here, $28 trillion. All right. This is how much in tax revenues they've collected. $3 trillion, over almost $3.5 trillion in tax revenues. All right, and then look down here where it says total spending. They spent over $10 trillion, and they wonder why we ain't with constant debt. All right, U.S. domestic gross national GDP 21 trillion. So we take in 21 trillion, but we spend 28 trillion. You can't survive off that. Nobody can. You can't even go to the bank, or you can't go to none of your financial institutions and try to get that. All right, they'll look at you crazy and probably call the men in the white suits and tell them to bring that white jacket for you. All right. So we're operating at 101% of GDP to debt to GDP to debt to GDP. All right. So with that being said, well, thank you again for joining us in another edition of Melanie Gamma News. All right, we took a little hiatus break because my kids are on spring break and we had a bunch of stuff planned. All right. So once again, want to thank you again for joining us another edition of Melanie Gamma News. As we say, as we always say, become your own best banker, become your own best savings and loans, become your own best credit union. All right, you are your own best financier. You are your own best bank. All right, once again, let's go ahead, get that barter system started with your neighbors. Get the neighbors, get your community together, get that barter system started, get it together with other communities. All right, want to thank you for joining us another edition of Melanie News. Be safe, be sound, take care of each other, take care of yourselves. Let's get it started.